What's poppin', YouTube? It's Josh here at Pop Lab Studio doing another dessert. This one's a little bit different. I'm not normally a baker, but we're going to try something a little bit new. We're going to do marshmallows. So with that said, we got some Ghirardelli white chocolate chips for some topping, our flavoring, some cornstarch, granulated sugar up top here. And we also have the confectioner sugar underneath, salt, light corn syrup, another topping, caramel, and then gelatin. We've already pre-measured everything out, weighed it out, pre-measured it, got our trusty KitchenAid stand mixer. Got to do it with that to make sure that everything is even and nice. And then I have it, like I said, pre-measured out, makes life easier. Plus, everything's sort of time sensitive when baking. Like I said, I'm not really good at baking, but this is something that we have a lot of fun with here. All right, let's see what we can pop into. First step for today's fun is adding in our sugar. Once again, this is already pre-measured out by my wonderful wife. So what we're going to do is just add all this. We'll have the information in the description for the actual recipe and what was needed. Add the water, the sugar, as well as the corn syrup. And this is going to be the fun part. All sticky. What I'm going to do here is take this and sort of scoop it out, sort of speed up the process here. Try to get as much of it out as you can. You don't have to be perfect. I mean, we try, especially with baking, a lot less playroom than there is with just normal cooking. And we're going to try to get as much of it out. Okay, so after we get this out as much as possible and try to get it in there, then we're going to take it and just stir this around just to make sure that all the sugar is nice and moist, that the sugar is, actually has moisture. It's not going to liquefy yet until we heat it up. But then what we're going to do is turn the heat on after it's nice and thoroughly mixed, make sure nothing's on the side. Just want to make sure that we don't burn it to the bottom. And put it on a medium-high heat here. So on my stove, it's about a 6. Okay, and we're going to let that heat up. And we do have our trusty candy thermometer. Yes, you are going to need a candy thermometer, guys. A regular thermometer will not work because of the high temperature and high heat on this one. What we're going to do is, after we put it in the saucepan, we're going to clip the thermometer to the side of the saucepan and let the temperature get to about 242 to 245 degrees. So I'm not going to bore you and literally let you guys watch me boil water and sugar. So I'm going to set this aside and we're going to come back in a few minutes. And as always, I already washed my hands and all my utensils and everything else. Make sure you guys do too, you filthy animals. All right, we'll come back at you in a few minutes. All right, so while the sugar is over in the pot boiling, waiting till it gets to the exact temperature, we're going to bloom our gelatin. So we're going to take the other amount of water, I think it's half a cup, dump it into our mixer, and then our gelatin, dump it into the mixer. With that, we're going to stir it up a little bit. Make sure that it's nice and stirred so that it doesn't just have a bunch of the powder sitting on top of the liquid. I'm going to push it all into the center. And that's going to sit for 10 minutes roughly or so while it is blooming. And then we will move on to the next step. Okay, we're checking in on the sugar mixture. We are looking at our candy thermometer here. We are at about the 235-ish range. Like I said, in the instructions, it was specific 242, 245-ish. You do not want to go above that 245 on this. If you do, you change the consistency of that to a rock candy pretty much. So this is my first time doing this. I'm being very precise with I've never made marshmallows before. This is normally my wife's forte, but I want to see how we can do it, what's going on. And you can see in the background here, we also have dinner in a crock pot. That's another video. But We are almost there. After that point, the gelatin is still blooming in the mixer, so we're letting that sit. As soon as this hits the 240-ish, 242, 245 mark, I'm going to take this out, turn the heat down to low, put the lid on it, and let it sit for about 2 minutes in the low temperature. So it's still sort of liquidy, but we don't want that temperature to rise to get it any hard, like a hard candy. All right, guys, almost done. Okay. At this time, our sugar mixture has completely been heated up to the appropriate temperature. Like I said, the instructions are going to be in the description, guys, but we're also going to make sure that it is so hot that it has removed all the crystals of the sugar from it. We're going to then turn our stand mixer onto low, just a 1. We're going to use the edge of the stand mixer because we actually want the mixture to run down the side of the mixer pan or the mixer bowl so that it does not completely scorch the gelatin that's at the bottom that was blooming, because it is 250 degrees, guys. So we're just gonna do this on low, and we're gonna do it slow so that we don't actually burn ourselves, burn our mixture, and I really don't want it splashing up in my face. 250 degrees of hot molten sugar would not be fun. Because of the angle, guys, don't worry, you're probably not going to get all of it. I'm going to try as much as I can. All right. That's about as best as we got. So then we're going to take this. We're going to switch it up to a medium. And then I will see you guys in roughly 3 to 5 minutes. All right. While your mixer is going in the background, as you can hear it, guys, we did mix a little bit of the confection sugar as well as some cornstarch in there. Once again, in the description. Just whisk it around. I'm going to take that. We already pre-buttered the bottom of the pans as well, just so that make sure that they release, they don't stick. I'm going to just use this to sift all this. This is just so that the actual marshmallows will release. Remember, guys, also get the walls of the pan as well, because it'd be great if it released from the bottom, and then all of a sudden the walls will take on a wonderful sticky situation, and then you're just ripping them off the sides. Not fun, not pretty. One thing I did forget to mention as I was putting all the hot stuff into the mixer there, in like I said, 3 to 5 minute time, about the halfway mark, about 2 minutes or so, what you're going to do is you're going to put about a pinch, a dab, a smatter, a little bit of salt, however you want to do it. It's just for a little bit of flavor. You guys, no big deal. There's no measurements, as you know. All right, those are nice and sugared up. All right, guys, so we have been whisking. Yes, forgot to mention that as well. Make sure you have your whisk attachment on your mixer, not your paddle attachment. So we've been whisking for about 4.5 minutes. It has doubled to maybe even tripled in volume. At that point, what we're going to do is switch it on to high for another 3 to 5 minutes. At that point, it should also double again its volume. All right, guys, here we go. And power. Okay, while we're mixing on high, guys, now is the time to add the flavor. We have done this in the past, so it depends on what kind of flavor you like. The last ones we did were around Christmas time, and we used peppermint. We used the entire little bottle. You can get these at a lot of places, Michael's, Walmart, Target, your local grocery store. But when we did the whole thing of peppermint, it literally tasted like you were brushing your teeth every time you took a bite. So for these, we're using butterscotch. And I'm only going to use about half of this time, because you can't take the flavor out, but you can always add a little bit more. Oh, wow. That is very, very, very good smelling. All right, about 2 more minutes mixing it. It is still a little bit warm. That's good. It has increased in volume by about, like I said, 2 to 3 more times again. It's about halfway up the whisk. And we have about another 1 minute, 1.5 minutes, and we're almost there. Okay, guys, it has been whisking nicely for, like I said, about 3 to 4 more additional minutes. We are going to turn it off now. We're going to take this and we're going to lower it down. I'm actually going to just take the entire whisk out, and then we're going to shift the camera over here to the actual pots or pans that we prepared earlier. I did pre-butter the spatula ahead of time so that it doesn't stick. We're going to lift all this up. I'm going to take this out. All right, we're going to take this. This is exactly why we pre-buttered the spatula, because it is not coming out on its own. There we go. You are not, I repeat, you are not going to get all of this out. Do not try. Do not. You will spend hours here doing this. Just try to get as much as you can out. Okay. I'm going to take it, set it aside for a second, spread it. I've seen all different kinds of people do this. They will spread it, they will adjust it, I've seen them try to bang it. So put it in here, leave it in here, don't play with it, let it sit. I do have a little bit of extra. I'm going to see if I can just grab this out and put it in the other pot, the other pan. It's a good amount over here. Like I said, you're not going to get all of it out. Don't try. This is just be a smaller, thinner version. All right. Just going to push it off to one side. All right. This is going to be the weirdest little, okay, whatever. All right, we're going to have fun with this anyway. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put on some toppings. Whee! Okay. That was our caramel. Now we're going to have the all Ghirardelli, of course. Ghirardelli caramel, Ghirardelli classic white. I'm going to just, you know what? The hole is too small here. Let me just actually open this up a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to try to spread them out nice and evenly so you don't get just a mouthful. It's raining. Sprinkles, not sprinkles. Ghirardelli chocolate pieces. All right, guys. So with that said, we are now going to take these and set these aside, cover them, and at room temperature, set them aside somewhere nice, somewhere that no dogs are going to jump on it, kids are going to pull them off the counter, cover them up. It's going to take about 6 hours for these to set. Then we'll come back and then we'll cut them up and remove them and package them up. All right, guys, thanks. All right, guys. So it is the next day. We've let these things sit. Like I said, originally let them sit like a minimum of 6 hours. We did let them sit completely overnight. So it's now the next day. We're gonna take our cutting utensil. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna butter a nice little amount of it on both sides so that it doesn't stick, or tries not to stick as much as possible. And then with the leftover confectioner sugar and cornstarch mix, we're going to do both sides. And yes, I did wash my hands, you filthy animals. Okay, let's pop this bad boy open. Looks so good. All right, so I'm gonna try like 1 inch. Squares here, or lines initially. And either leave those fat, or yeah, we'll just leave those fat. I'm gonna cut them this way as well. Make little squares. The people who get the ones on the ends get the really fat ones. All right, well, almost there. One final cut. Those are fat ones too. All right. Yeah. All right. Now, the last thing I'm going to do is go over here and grab a fork, see if I can pry one of these bad boys out. I actually want this small one, but it also has some of the most caramel sauce on it. Okay. So, there's the final product. Squishy, nice and fluffy. A lot of flavor on it. Really sweet. Has a slight butterscotch flavor, but the caramel on there on this specific piece is a little bit overpowering. This piece really does have a lot of the white chocolate chips on it. Some pieces don't have any at all. But other than that, really, really good. Quick and easy snack. Well, not really quick, but easy snack. Kids love them. Till next time, guys, keep popping. Like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. We'll let you know when something new is coming out. Have a great night.